Ladies and gentlemen, K Kim here. Welcome to the Lockdown Daily Update. Hope you guys had a good weekend and good day today. First of the, we did have a May trading, right? And Friday was the first day of May. Today's second day trading for the month of May. I hope you guys had a good day trading today. Let's continue with our daily update here. Looking at the S&P 500, market is up a little bit. We did see a gap down though towards the early trading hour, as you can see here. Overall, the market is up. You can see 0.28% for the day, but we did see that gap down. Initially, we saw some up and down shenanigans there. And then we found some support in this vicinity at 280 and built about 4-hour base here and was able to thrust back higher. There's a few good things happen for the short-term buyers is that this gap that was open, right? That gap was filled right away. And a lot of times, you know, when the gap gets filled, it usually acts as resistance. This time around, we really didn't. I actually thought that we're gonna close, and this was my kind of anticipation, because there was a gap and the gap was filled. I actually thought they were gonna close with a candle that looks something like this. And that's kind of what I was thinking, and that's kind of what you would expect when the gap gets filled. You know, more of a usual circumstances, but given the fact that we saw a move thrusting higher in the short term, I would have to say that that's a bullish sentiment there in the micro term. So I think the short term support would be then this level here. So that's the level where we initially saw that swing high, right? And then we saw the gap down today. We thrusted above it. So looking at things on micro term, right? We're now looking at micro term. We do have a micro term higher high there, as you can see. So if we see price pulling back tomorrow, you want to watch about you know, this level here, 282.8, something like that, right? In this vicinity, as a potential micro term support. And if we do see a slide early trading hours tomorrow, buyers want to see a higher low in the micro term and before making another run to the upside there. Keep in mind, we do still have that, I keep forgetting what this moving average is. I think that's 30 EMA, right? So we still have that 30 EMA on this 65-minute chart. 30 EMA is still declining, right? So we still have that kind of a bearish short-term, minor-term connotation there. Now that we're seeing this moving average declining, you can see right here. So when they are rising, you want to give benefit of the doubt to the buyers. When they're falling, and I'm talking about short term, I'm going to zoom out as I always do. You know, I usually start this video with the very, very short term analysis, and then I'll zoom out later and look at a longer term. But looking at this shorter term, we have that falling 30 EMA. So buyers want to reclaim that. Ultimately, though, buyers want to come back up here at 285 and threaten this down gap. This down island gap. Remember, this was an island, right? Because there's a gap up and then there's a gap down, right? So that's a pretty decent sized gap. Bears were not able to make any kind of progress with gaps before. And we did see a pretty sizable gap here, as you can see. That was back in April 21st. And we did see a pretty big follow through, and we talked about that on the last Thursday or Friday's video, the market update video, that we have a pretty similar sequence here where, you know, we come down, see a big gap down, we see a follow through, it's a little bit of base, bulls bring it right back up, higher low, and then made a run. You can see we pulled back, and then we saw a big gap down from here to actually there, and then we saw follow through. And then you're seeing that base here in the last couple of days of trading. And that small gap was filled right away. So what bears want to see is bears want to make sure that, you know, there's some kind of a resistance on that level, that falling 30 EMA. If not, bears have to protect this gap, because this was where the selling pressure came about. We initially did see a small breakaway gap to the downside, and this was that continuation gap, and that continuation gap turned into a continuation island top reversal gap. So there was a lot of selling pressure in that vicinity. Not to mention, I mean, there's a big gap. There's a big gap up prior to that. So there was a lot of momentum to the upside, and then things just switched very, very quickly. And so bears want to kind of keep that momentum going, because it was bullish momentum throughout this entire move, right? Since April 21st, about 10 days, we saw a big bullish run from the buyers, right? And then bears were able to, shift that sentiment back down to bearish. So for bears to continue to keep that sentiment in the short-term momentum to continue to the downside, bears gotta make sure to defend this gap. Should the buyers get up here and start filling this gap, that's bullish. And what you should, this is something I've been talking about here, and I've been fair for both bulls and bears, right? And if you've been watching my daily updates, I've been fair in my analysis, giving you both bullish thesis and bearish thesis. So I've been saying that bears want to see something like this, right? I've been saying that you can't hang around because bulls have so much momentum that you let bulls hang around, they're going to push it back up. And we've seen that happening here. Bears let bulls hang around, got up. Bears let bulls hang around, got up, right? Bears let bulls hang, got up, right? This is happening, same thing here. Bears let bulls hang around, got up. So what bears needed to do was gapping it down. And I've been talking about that pretty much all last week. Bears must gap it down and see a follow through. And we saw that on Thursday. But this time around, if buyers bring it back up here near this level, and if buyers gap this up somewhere up here above 290 or 280, anywhere in this vicinity, this whole thing is now going to turn into a bullish island bottom reversal. If we see something like that, bulls can able to gap above around 290 and hold above it for a day or so. Buyers are going to go after this, and that's a small gap, so probably going to get filled quickly, hang around there for a little bit, and bulls are going after 300. So that's something bears do not want to see. Bears do not want to see buyers gapping it up. It will be better if bulls come up here, fill maybe partial gap, and then fall and have remained, or some of the remainder of this gap remains open, and potentially turn it into a lower highs and lower low. That will be the best bet, and then trying to go after this up gap there. That will be bear's scenario, right? So let's see how it plays out. Let's zoom out now and look at the a bigger picture, right? Longer term picture. So we want to continue to give benefit of the doubt to the buyers in the longer term picture, looking at 65 minute, right? And we've been saying this for the entire month of April. You can see that we got that low, higher lows, and higher highs. Even in that pullback, we cultivated higher high first and pulled back, right? And a lot of people like to talk about, okay, that gain was wiped out the last week of April. It's non-event. No, it's not non-event. This not non-event, because bulls have cultivated something. Bulls have established. They have demonstrated that they are continuing to, right? They're continuing to develop, right? Uptrend here. That's an uptrend development. Higher lows, because the market doesn't go straight up. It's going to go up and down, up and down, up and down, right? So as long as bulls, looking at this longer term picture, they continue to move the market in this manner, in this fashion, in this trend going forward, we want to continue to give benefit of the doubt to the buyers in longer term. In the micro term, like I said, we have the falling 30 EMA. So micro term sentiment is bearish, despite the fact that we did see some buying pressure today towards the end of the day. But once bulls reclaimed that moving average here. You see right there, because it was declining. Quickly, bulls came able to bring it back up there. So it'll be important to see how the market is going to behave going into the next couple days. Before I close this video, let's look at that oscillator here. So you can see, and this is kind of what we talked about last Thursday and Friday, that now we see that we got into that oversold level, right? And we're seeing that oscillator, seeing that bullish cross. And I can't say for sure because, you know, these indicators, man, just because you saw this indicator pricing up does not mean it's 100% guaranteed you're going to make new highs to 300. So when we do analysis, you want to always understand that nothing is 100% guaranteed. But given the fact that what we've seen in the past, when this signal appeared, it favored the buyers. So what you do with that information is not like, okay, I'm gonna like go all in long. Like that's not what he's saying. What he's saying is, okay, in the past few occurrences, April 21st and April 1st, when we saw oversold sentiment and when we saw, you know, prices bouncing back up, we did see that bullish momentum coming back up, looking at things maybe longer term, like looking at this, you know, 65-minute chart. So you want to understand that sentiment is potentially shifting to the upside. That's what he's saying. It could change tomorrow, you know, Wednesday, things can change, but for now we're starting to see a little bit of momentum shifting to the upside. So tomorrow we'll come back, we'll follow up, we'll go from there, right? You guys have a wonderful weekend and good luck trading tomorrow.